Happy Monday. It is Member Monday Spotlight for the Leap for Ladies community. And I am always excited for Monday mornings. I don't have those Sunday scaries thinking about Monday mornings because I know I get to have a great conversation with one of the Leap for Ladies community members. And today I get the pleasure of talking to Stacy Weber. She is the founder of True You Consulting. And Stacy does some amazing work that is all aligned with your mindset and your connection to your soul and what's your higher purpose, and relates that to all things business and life. So I'm so excited for us to dive into how Stacy gets to work with her clients. So welcome, Stacy. Introduce ourselves to our listeners and tell them a little bit about what you get to do for a living.
Great. Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Good morning, everyone. My name is Stacy Weber, and I am a transformational intuitive coach. I'm a sales trainer and a speaker. And, you know, my background is 25 plus years in outside sales, management, and training. And through that 25 years, I learned so much about myself, about how to have great communication with people. And yet I found at the very end of my corporate career that I had lost myself. I'm like, who is Stacy Weber, right? And so I had to really do a lot of self-discovery. And I think a lot of people go through that. Like they go on this career path and then all of a sudden they're like, what's going on? Is this who I am? Is this all? And I felt like there was a higher calling. So I got my life coaching certification and personal training license to go deeper within myself. And so that's what I do now is I help people really have a great relationship with themselves. I don't know if everybody really thinks about that. Do I love myself? Like the confidence comes within, and your business really starts within you. So if you're looking to grow not only yourself, but your business, like it really is starting at that soul place, that essence of who you are, and really discovering that person. So that confidence and inner, calling that's calling you forward, you just go with it. You go with that energy. And so I just created a new program called Soul Time with Stacy to really discover that, to help people take this journey of discovering who they truly are so they can really step fully into their potential, their business, their life in such a bigger way.
Love that. I love that, Stacy. And I want to go back to something you said, at the end of your corporate career, you were kind of wondering, who is Stacy, right? And yes. I think many women and men, right? I think many of us go through that, where we've had this career, that's been our focus for our lives, right? Along with our families and loved ones and whatever else we have going on. And it's so easy to lose ourselves. I had that transformation happen for myself, which led to me becoming a coach as well, because I was like, what brings me joy in life, right? What sparks my interest? Because we're giving and raising kids and being a wife and being a daughter and a sister and a friend and all those kind of things, right? And so I think it's so important to take time to say, what does spark joy in us? What is pulling us forward? How are we showing up in our full selves? And I love that you get to be a guide for that, right? That's such a cool thing to do with your time and being able to help clients. So tell us a little bit about your favorite way to work with clients, or some of the experiences that you've had with clients.
Well, recently last year, I just started doing retreats.
Yeah.
And that is what's so powerful. I've done 1-day retreats and 5-day retreats where you get to pause, put your hand on the pause button and close out the world. Because what happens is, I've done, 1-day events and things like that, which, really gets you jump started, but then what keeps you going, right? So these retreats help you go within to really rediscover all the stuff that you kind of squash down. Well, I'll just push that aside, that pain, that hurt, that's disappointment in my business, that relationship that did not come to, your like dreams and goals. We all have those things, and then all of a sudden they get squashed. And so this retreats open that up to really see what's going on, what you've pushed down, and then really realize the power that you have within to change that trajectory, to really move you forward, move past, step through the pain and move forward. So I love doing retreats. I also do group. This Soul Time with Stacy program I just started is
Yeah.
a 6-month program that's over online. But we do the inner work. I create a safe place where people feel like they can open up and be vulnerable, because where do you have that? I mean,
Right.
you stand up here on this spotlight, and you're like, okay, I'm here. I want to look good. I mean, everybody
Yeah.
does that, right? But when
Yes.
you have that opportunity to go, I'm just going to be raw.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be vulnerable, and that's when the magic happens. We cry, we do these things, men, women, whoever, but
Yeah.
that's when you open up to so much more in your life and your business.
I love that. I love that. And again, it's the power of vulnerability, right?
Oh my
And
gosh, yes.
being a human being, I always tell my clients, I am a business focused coach, right? I don't deal with the life coaching side of things, but we come to business as a whole human being. And so sometimes
Yes.
you need to talk about what's happening in your life, because it's affecting the way you're showing up in your business, right? So it's, and vice versa, right? Sometimes you go to a life coach and they're like, my business is affecting me here. And, we are whole human beings. And I think the
Yes.
more we can show up in any situation and be a whole human being, it's going to help create that stronger relationships with the people that we do work with, right? Because sometimes we can see somebody as up on a pedestal, like, oh, their whole life is perfect and they have no flaws and everything's running so smoothly for them. And then you find when you talk to them and you get to have that vulnerable moment, you're like, oh, they're a human being just like me, right? They're going through struggles just like me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. And, after I really, my focus, or my main, I guess, calling to help people in sales is that when you're having that conversation, so much has to do with, especially if you're an entrepreneur and selling yourself, it's a whole different ballgame than selling something else, right? And so
Yeah.
why this inner work is so important is because it starts there. How you show up comes from within first. Are you genuine? Are you authentic? Do you really are there to serve them? And so you got to be strong within yourself. You got to love yourself first. And then, boy, the magic happens when you can get on a call with someone. They know you're just authentic and there to help them with their business or whatever product or service that you have. I feel that's super important.
Yes, I agree 100%. So I know you are based in Arizona, but you
Mhm.
can work with somebody anywhere, right? Because you can do sessions on Zoom.
Absolutely.
Or Google Meets or whatever. I assume Zoom, right? Online. You can do it online. Are your Soul Time with Stacy, is that done virtually as well, or is that local?
Yes, that's virtual. Um, I love doing in-person stuff. I think that's really makes an impact. But when you want to have, people that are all around the world or wherever,
Yeah.
the Zoom can work really well. And what I'm thinking about doing is also doing a retreat with these people. So we get online and then we come together. It's just both platforms, I think, are so important. We got 2020 with the pandemic, we got into that, but I think people now are like, really like going back to coming, together in person too. I think it's
Yes.
powerful both places.
Yes, I agree. It is great to have a wider reach,
Yeah.
because when we do things virtually, we can reach people across all time zones, right?
Right.
But then coming together in person is such a valuable piece. I love that. And, I loved what you said earlier, Stacy, about when you do come to a retreat, hitting that pause button, because just having that space to think and connect to ourselves, we don't always get it in our regular day-to-day lives, especially if you've got kids and husbands and you're trying to deal with school and getting kids out the door. It's not not everybody has that time to just take for themselves to reconnect in the morning or in the evenings, right? And if you're a business owner, you're thinking about, oh, I got to get into my email box. I got to do all these things. I got to talk to these people today. And it's easy to just get stuck and skip that piece where we're just taking a few moments to just reconnect with who am I and how am I showing up today, which I think is so powerful. So how do you help your clients kind of build that into their daily lives?
You just read my mind. I was just thinking when I work with people, I don't want to, I love working with my clients. And a lot of times it takes a while to move through all the things, that whether it's relationships, personal relationships, that affects, everything, your business. But I love giving people the tools to help themselves. How can you create your own toolbox so you can, pull these different tools out when they come up? Whether it's preparing for the day, like preparing for this call, like how do you get yourself up, excited, and say, like you were saying, I get to be here. I'm going to bring joy into my day. Everything, even if there's things that you're like, I don't really like to do that, which we all have those things.
Right.
How do you prepare for your day? How do you prepare for a segment in your life, a relationship, a crucial conversation? Having those tools to be able to go, I'm confident, I love myself in any situation, and where your life becomes that full of joy. If you create that in your life, you create those. I meditate every morning, I exercise. Those are the things that really help me get on track, because our mind can go so many different places. And it's just automatic, right? We could see something on social media. We could see something in our email, right? That just takes us off. Yeah. But if you set the tone and realize, how can I set the tone for the day so I'm joyous, happy, my body feels good. Our body tells us. That's another big tool that we all have that we don't always listen to. Those little things that say, this is not quite right. I found that in my life. And boy, you want to listen to those before they get loud, right? And so I give people the tools to help themselves every single day. And when things get off track, how do you pull yourself back and get yourself back on track?
I love that. I love that. It's so important for us to do, and it's so easy. I love Jim Rohn. And he's kind of, falling out of the vernacular today, but he still has so many precious wisdom to share with us. And one of the quotes I use from him all the time is, we all know it's good for us to eat an apple a day, right? An apple a day keeps the doctor away, all that kind of stuff. He goes, but it's just as easy not to eat the apple every day. It's easy to eat an apple every day. It's not a hard thing to do, but it's just as easy not to eat the apple, right? So it's just as easy not to find time to meditate. We know we can find time, but it's just as easy not to do it. So having someone like Stacy in your life that can help you build in these habits and then be there to support you with her retreats and her Soul Time with Stacy or a group, that's really what we need is in our lives, is just that somebody else to help us build that habit so that we can do it for ourselves, right?
Yes. I love the book Atomic Habits. I think a lot of people have read that. But you could read it and then not do it. It's
right. Yeah.
I actually have a company I work with that we did a whole training on that. They all read the book, and then I go, okay, now we have to follow up. It's like that follow-up piece is so important. Otherwise, we just go back to the same thing.
Right.
We have to take action in those books that we read. They're so valuable. But so that I really help people with that follow through. It's self-love. It really is going, what's going to make me joyful and happy? I love that you said that. It's so important. I mean, life is short. Life is short.
Yes. And I talk about a study that Harvard did, and they talked about how to give yourself 10 more years of your life. And it's simply, then the study, they found out if people that just switched from I have to I get to, they switched that mindset, which made them more happy, more joyful, more connected, right? Just that one phrase, I have to do this or I get to do this, can add 10 years to your life. So,
yay!
It's really powerful. These little tricks that we can do for ourselves, right? To switch
That's
things
right.
around. So
That's right.
I have loved this conversation, Stacy. I could talk to you for a lot longer, but we've only got 15 minutes. We're already at our time. So I'm going to ask you a few fun icebreaker questions, just so our listeners can get to know you as a more authentic person, right?
Sure.
So let's see here. What is the first thing you bought with your own money? Do you remember?
Oh my goodness.
You bought with your own money. Not like e-commerce.
I don't even remember, but the first thing that popped in my head was candy, probably.
Okay, yeah. Yes, as a little kid, that's what we all did with our allowance, was buy
That's
candy.
right. That's right.
Let's see. What's the most unusual thing you've ever collected?
Unusual thing.
Or do you collect anything? Some people don't, right?
Collect things. I don't know. I love rocks. I love, on the beach and picking up rocks and things like that. It's like those are special, quiet moments, I guess. I like doing that. I have those things that I put on my, little special area that I meditate and things like that, that brings you back to what's most important, brings you back home, right?
Yes. Nice. I love that. Okay. And what's one thing on your bucket list?
I went to Greece last year, which was like the big bucket list thing that I wanted to do. You know what? My kids don't have kids. My kids aren't married, but I look forward to having, spending time with grandchildren. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope that's in my future. I feel like it will be, right? But that sounds really joyful to me, is to spend precious time with small little ones. So
yes. Yeah. I love that. I love that too. All right. Well, thank you again for being a member of the Leap for Ladies community. It's so wonderful. Just all of the women in the community are amazing, just like you. And if you're listening, or watching this, I have put all of Stacy's contact information, including how to schedule a call with her, in the chat. So please take a look at that. It'll be in the post if you're watching this after the fact. But Stacy, thanks so much for being a LEAP community member and for coming on the Member Spotlight today.
Thank you for having me. It was wonderful. I had a great time.
Yes.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.